title 3 years ago, winning an FA Cup as well. Just what you make of them being in the situation that they are, and obviously with the team that you're facing this weekend now under Dean Smith, what differences do you see between the side you're going to face and the side that played under Brendan Rodgers?
It was the first year when I arrived there. My first season, Leicester won the league. Yeah. Special story, very special story, will stay forever. But yeah, now the situation is obviously completely different. I cannot really and don't want to compare with Brendan's team and now Dean Smith's team. So they are in a relegation battle. It's obvious. I saw after this meeting, we have to analyze after this press conference. We have to analyze meeting. But I saw the game against Everton, for example. Really good spells in the game. It was a really good footballing team. Yeah, but how we all always were and will be in the relegation battle, you are not always the best version of yourself. So that's why it makes it so difficult. Yeah? So it makes it so difficult to be there. But what we have to expect is a team who wants to stay in the league and will fight for that with all they have. That's what we have to expect. I told that the boys already at the start of our training week. And I said, okay, this is now the real fight, and we have to make sure that we are ready for that, because home game for Leicester, and the game after us is, I think, Newcastle, if I'm right. So that's not an easy game as well, and they need all the points they can get. So I expect a super difficult and super intense game, to be honest. So big fight, and with brilliant footballers on the pitch still. So and that makes it tricky.
Just with players coming back for yourself, Bobby and Naby, any chance they'll be involved this weekend?
No. We're not in team training yet. I saw Bobby yesterday training. He looks like pretty much nearly there, but I don't think he will be in for the weekend. If he's now when I go out here and he will be in the session, I would be surprised. But I assume that we start with him team training wise after the Leicester game, and Naby no.
We've spoken a bit over the last few weeks about laying foundations to move forward, given the run that you're on at the minute as well. And we've also spoken about supplementing the squad with signings in the summer as well. But I think you're of the view, correct me if I'm wrong, that players don't want to join when you haven't got Champions League football. Then you would question whether they are right for the club. So where are you at in terms of finding the players with the right attitude, and how confident are you of landing your number one targets, whether you got Champions League or not?
Oh, it's not about that. It's when I talk to a player, and I'm allowed to talk to a player, which is barely the case, to be honest. But in the moment when you are, then when you talk, then and you realize then that he, in his eye, but then it's already clarified, because we cannot tell anybody in the moment that we will be definitely in Champions League next year. So if he's talking to us, then it's probably already clear that he knows about that situation. But it's just a general thing. I think if you join a club, it's not what you want to reach something together with the club and not serving on the wave the club created before. So it's one thing, but of course it's obvious that we have to fight for being part of the Champions League and have to fight for trophies and these kind of things. And if you want to be part of that, then you're more than welcome. There's only one thing which we cannot guarantee this year, and this is Champions League football. But all the rest is the same like it was before. It's a fantastic club with a really, really good football team, and an even better one probably, hopefully, next year. So that's it, and that's not so difficult. I've barely faced the situation that you are in a talk with a player and everything sounds great, and in the end he says, okay, now see you if. So that happens not really often. Still Liverpool. So, and that means we are really attractive for a lot of players, and should not forget that. And that's why I'm not concerned about that fact. Of course, everything is more difficult without Champions League. That's how it is, especially in the long term. So we should not do these kind of things more often. But apart from that, it's absolutely okay, the situation we are in from a talking point of view and from a convincing point of view.
I just wondered what you feel the main reason for the turnaround in results has been for Liverpool. Is it a particular game or incident that sparked this run of form and good results?
We spoke about that quite frequently. About that, we tried to give ourselves the chance for a fresh start with a lot of different things. Maybe the different football things. Had kind of a new start. We agreed on that in the week. I can't remember which week it was exactly, but we had 8-9 days for training between the games, and we wanted to use that time to start the new season already, not knowing where it will lead us to, but just didn't want to waste more time, and it was a breath of fresh air for all of us, not only the players but for the coaches as well. And since then things changed. We work on different subjects. The basic principles stay. It's about intensity. It's about counter pressing. It's about generally intensive football. These kind of things. But we want to control the game differently. We want to protect our game differently in different formation. We want to build up differently. So there's so many things we are different, and it's really, to be honest, it's really good fun for us. So to think about it, to work on it, to create something new for us, and that's what we did. And then the results came in. That's for sure no complete coincidence, but we know that we needed luck in moments as well. Luck we maybe didn't have in other games before, but now we are in the situation we are in, and now we have 3 more games to play, and it's still the same. We already prepare the next season, but knowing that this season is a lot to play for, and that's exactly what we do. So sometimes you need to change big things to get a turnaround. Most of the time it's only little things, but sometimes you have to change big things. And I think after when the coach is in for 7.5 years, that's pretty rare. And usually in that time, some clubs have 3, 4, 5 coaches, which is obviously not great, but then that means it's always new. Oh, we were really successful until last year with a specific way. It's not that we did always the same stuff, but it was a way of play which we knew about, that it's successful and works out for us. And all of a sudden it didn't work out for us anymore. It was always clear that we have to change things, but that was at least one good thing of this season, that there were the good reason to change things. Imagine we would have changed everything after we won nearly 4 trophies in the start of the new season, and then we play bad. That would have been really tricky. And that's why sometimes you need these kind of moments, and we needed it, obviously, and change it. How I said, when the coach is in that long, you have to change things anyway, and in the right moment. And that's why I said I think we caught the right moment, maybe for this season a bit late. We will see that, but in general, I think it was the right moment.
Another 30-goal season for Mo Salah, but because there's a player with 50 goals this season in the Premier League, is there a danger that his achievement is in fact in danger of being overlooked?
No, not from us, not from the Liverpool supporters, maybe from you. I don't know, because this question is now not the first time that I hear it. Means not from us, and I say a lot of times will be an all-time great after he finishes his career, but now he's still in his career, and if you see Mo every day, there's still a good few years in his legs and in his body, so the numbers will even improve, and that's absolutely great. No, we don't overlook it, but I can imagine if the question is asked that often that you might be guilty to overlook it. I don't know.
Yeah, just a couple of things. A few weeks ago, when you had like a period of time before the next game, so you had like a full week before the next fixture, you were saying how much you enjoyed the coaching and maybe prefer it more than managing full time. What do you enjoy about the coaching the most? Because I know also you're the manager, but it gives you that time to go out and coach as well.
Yeah, it's the same now. It's the same now. Yeah. What do you mean? I'm the manager.
When the fixture's always like
every 3 days. Yeah. No,
it's
it's recovery. Yeah, it's recovery and second day recovery and -1 session. That's true. Yeah, I enjoy these periods much more, of course. That's true. And we have that now again. That's how it is. And that's working with the players, improving together, making clear what we want to do and put that into sessions. Yes, I enjoy a lot. That's true. It was always the same. But you cannot. If I wanted that for my whole career, I would have been even minds played from time to time international football. So then I have to go to somewhere where definitely is no international football, and you have always a full week to train, and that's not what I want as well. So it's all fine. I love the rhythm with the three games a week, but from time to time it makes massively sense. But we don't open that box now. But as we spoke a lot about, that we in general don't have enough time to train with the boys. That we play all the time, and that there must be a change with the schedules. That was obviously not our subject this season, because we left quite. All the other competitions pretty early, but in a successful season, it's brutal. It's brutal. So, but when you have it, you have to use it, and that's what we try. Now we have time again, and that's what we try to use, obviously. And I want to see that we train the full week together. I want to see that in the next week. I want to see little changes. I want to see improvement. That's true, and for that we have to do the right stuff in training. And so far this week, I'm pretty confident we did that. That doesn't mean we will just fly over the Leicester team, stuff like this. No, we have to be ready for a proper fight. But in decisive moments, we need to have common solutions, and that's what we are working on.
And do you feel the run of form that you're on right now, you were sort of alluded to it just a bit earlier, does this set the tone then for next season?
Yeah, must. So it's a must. Look, when you just play a bad season, what we did until a few weeks ago, with some highlights, but which makes it even a bit more difficult to understand, really. It makes you even more angry when you think about it. We can play like this, we can play like that, but most of the time we played like that. So that's really not cool. So this period is super important for us because it gives us all a massive hint how it could look, and we all know we are early stages. We have to improve. We have to train a lot, work a lot, and to make things more natural and more clear for the boys what we want exactly. That's all true, and that's why it's so important that we started it early and not have to play a season, end up on position 10 or 11. And from the first day, we have to prove that we have everything changed because we have a pre-season, but then the season starts and everything needs then time to be really, that we really can use it in the most difficult competition in the world, in the Premier League, and that's what we will see. But that everybody knows already, we go in the right direction is really helpful.
Yeah, again, what do you think have been the key factors in you being able to rebuild Liverpool's resilience in the away games recently? Even Leeds, that was 6-1 at one point, there were moments of struggle. Away at West Ham, you were trailing. Not that long ago, heavy defeats at Wolves and Brighton where Liverpool folded.
It was less because it was the way we just played extremely bad. I would say that's maybe somebody will tell me that was because we played away. I don't think so. It was just a few really bad football games from our side. We never got grip of the game, never. So our away record is still not brilliant for this season. I think we are, I'm not sure, third or fourth in the home table and somewhere in the away table, so it's still not great. So that's, of course, something. But we had that discussion years ago, I think very early when I came here, that at home we created something like a fortress again, but then away we were still not, we were not a top 6 or top 4 team that time. And we realized it's not that difficult. The difference is not as big as we might think, but there is a difference, and we have to make sure that we are ready for that as well. That Anfield is a massive help and boost in a lot of moments. It's no secret, and we don't have that, but we have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people away, and they are completely mad. They are completely on their toes for the whole 95 minutes. Maybe some of them don't see us every week and have to travel a lot or are from the area where we are playing. So they are really excited, and I love that. I love the way atmosphere these people create. So it's not about that. We just were not consistent enough. So we needed too much help from the outside in moments this season, and didn't use it then always. That's why we are in the position we are. So, but again, we play a really bad season. I think everybody in this room agrees. And now we have 62 points. So it's strange. There is still quality in the boys, in us, and I'm really happy that we could show up a little bit. Wherever it will end up, it's really not about that. I know everybody wants to go now to the Champions League. I understand it 100%. I want. It's just not really likely. That's the situation we created. But to show up and show again that we are able to do special things, I'm really happy about. And winning 6 games in a row is special, and if it would be easy, we would have done it much more often. Other teams would have done it much more often. Adding the 7th on it is even more difficult, and 8 and 9 really difficult. So because it's football, and the other teams prepare as well for the games, and they have as well their targets and all these kind of things. So that makes it really difficult. But with this part of the season, obviously gave us a clear sign. Okay, we are still there. Not everything is bad about us and around us. Now we had a bad season. That's it. But let's see what we can make of it.
Champions League qualification is still not in your hands. A few weeks ago, it looked a million miles away. But how much in the final 3 games are you and the players informed by what happened at the Nou Camp when you came away and you said, beaten 3-0. If it wasn't this group, I'd say we were out. And then there was the miracle in Anfield. And also Alisson's header against West Brom when it was a similar situation, European qualification. How much does that inform what you and the players do?
Look, it's not that we mention it, but everybody who was involved in these moments will never forget it in our entire lives. That's how it is, and that means it's part of us, and that's why, yeah, you are right. There are we were around when miracles happened. That's true, but it's now again. It was then still in our hands, so we had to score against West Brom, obviously, and we had to win against Barcelona. Now we have to win, but that would not mean that anything changed, because if the other teams win all their games, that's a difference. I know that weeks ago it was completely out of sight. I couldn't see it at all, but that didn't mean that we will not try to get closer. And that's the only thing we did. We got closer, and I'm pretty sure we were in a situation like that years ago when we qualified first for Champions League. I think Chelsea was winning behind us and all the time, winning. So we had to win all the games. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. In the end, we made it anyway. So, and that's what I expect. It's not comfortable. For Newcastle and United would be happy probably if we would not be there anymore. And Brighton just starts losing from now on, and Tottenham, and that's just safe, and they can concentrate on other stuff. I don't know what. And but still, it's more likely that they will do it. And I respect that. If they finish the season above us, they deserve it. And that's how I see it.
Carl?
Hi.
Just on that not being comfortable when you're being pushed by other people, these 6 wins in a row, do you think it has exerted any pressure on the teams?
I don't have to say anything about that. I said already too much for all the headlines. It's because you always pick out little things. If I say that, then Daily Mail makes of it. We put them under pressure and stuff like this. That's absolutely not what I want to, because it's not about that. It's not about that. It's just about us winning. And what I said was, when we were in a similar situation, it's not comfortable. So that's it. And now make of it what you want. And I don't know, I thought my answer was clear enough that you don't have to ask the question again to get something out of it. That's really, yeah, not too cool.
Any more for the Open?
Oh,
Or we'll
we have still the embargo.
move on to the embargoes.